So what are the chances that car life would end the same day it began? Well, if you're me, those chances are pretty good. Hi, I'm Dominique, and welcome to Springfield, Missouri. In November of 2024, I moved to Mexico, and a few months later, I started this channel. I wanted to be able to share my experiences and the things that I've learned there, but this channel is more than about Mexico. It's about those moments in life where you just stop and say, what are the chances of that happening? Well, I've been told I get more than my fair share of those moments, and I have no idea what my fair share is. I do know that they probably have happened to me at least once a day for as far back as I can remember. And people often tell me that they appreciate listening and learning from my stories. And I've always enjoyed teaching, so I share those moments through storytelling. Now, what are the chances that car life would start and end this same day? Well, as my visa was coming to an end, I was trying to figure out what it was I was going to do next. I wasn't really in a rush to get back to Atlanta as much as I missed my family and my grandbabies, but I kind of wanted to keep exploring. And then I heard about Vanstock 2025 in Alaska, and I thought, wow, that would be an adventure. My mom had lived there as a little girl, but I've never been. And I thought, why not do that? So it's been a while since I've made a video because I got very caught up in trying to figure out how to outfit my little Terrain into a full-time car life vehicle for me and my two dogs. So I made the decision that's what we were doing. And I decided to make the car a little more comfortable. But I also decided to go ahead and do one more trip in Mexico, hit one more Pueblo Mágico. So I went and spent 2 wonderful days in a city called Lagos de Moreno. And I was going to take and finish organizing the car and take lots of videos so that I could post the trip. Only I left late that morning, and then I was dealing with rain, and I didn't take the videos. So I thought, that's fine, I'll take them later. I had a plan. But you ever make a plan and it seems like you keep hitting a wall? Well, I hit a mountain. I was driving, and in Mexico you tend to drive to the right in order to let cars pass you on the left or down the center lane. So I was driving to the right, and my tires went under the shoulder, which is normal. And there was about an 8-inch drop when I realized this, and apparently I overcorrected and started to careen towards the cement wall. And not wanting to slam into the wall, I started hitting the brakes and also turned to the right, and my car fishtailed out. I don't know if the roads were still wet or what, but I went nose first into a mountain. Yeah. Now, I was traveling at about 60 miles an hour when all of this started, maybe 65. And I was pretty sure it was over with. But somehow, the girls and I walked away without a scratch. I got out, a car pulled over to help. He asked if I was okay, and I said, yeah. We walked around. I was trying to pick up pieces out of the road so I wouldn't block traffic. The police came, the tow truck came. And a man came and asked me if I was okay. And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just trying to figure all this out. And he's like, no, I'm the medic. Are you okay? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, we're fine. I said, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my car. And he said, okay. And he walked away. He walked away. It didn't occur to me until the next day. How was I supposed to know if I was okay? I just hit a mountain at 60, 65 miles an hour. He left. Anyway, it was about 4:30 in the morning when I finally reached the hotel, which I did with the aid of the insurance adjuster. He drove me and the dogs there with a bunch of my stuff from my car. My car went to a tow yard. I spent 2 nights at that hotel. I spent a week at an Airbnb in Saltillo. This accident happened just outside of Saltillo. I had stayed with this host on the way into Mexico, and he had another apartment available in the same building, not even 10 miles away from the hotel. And so I booked it for a week. He was wonderful, very flexible. I wasn't sure how long I was going to need to be there. So trying to get out of Mexico with 2 dogs, 6 months worth of stuff, and no vehicle is not an easy task. My SUV was overstuffed with a soft top rooftop carrier. And now I needed to figure out how to get all of my belongings and my dogs and myself out. We can talk more about that in another video. But eventually I did. Crossed the border into Laredo, stayed at a motel, and was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. Was I going to quit? Or was I going to find a way to continue? So I started looking online, looking at vehicles. I had been thinking about vans before I left Mexico, but I had decided I had spent way too much money on my little Terrain trying to keep her band-aided together. Salud. And so I started looking, and there she was. When everything seemed dark and I wasn't sure what to do, Beacon showed up and showed me the way. And that's kind of how I see her. This big white van with appropriately mountains on her showed up, and I contacted the owner. She had been on the Facebook Marketplace for over 11 months, and he said I was the first one that seemed interested legitimately. I rented a car. I drove for 4 hours. I rented another motel. I went and saw her and bought her. This has been an interesting adventure, this unplanned van life. But in upcoming videos, we're going to talk about how I managed to get her registered in Texas in one day without having to drive back to Atlanta. We're going to talk about the insurance and how I dealt with getting out of Mexico. And I have been in Texas and Arkansas, and now I'm in Missouri. And the fact is, there have been a lot of what are the chances of moments that I have come across trying to outfit this van and make it useful for us. And you would think going from an SUV to a van would be easier. But soft things don't break. Containers break. Items break. But I have got tons of clothing, blankets, pillows, as well as a lot of other personal items that I now had to figure out how to store in my van. So we're going to talk about those things. And I'm going to share everything I can with you about this road trip to Alaska. I hope you come back. If you have any amazing stories or those what are the chances of moments that you want to share, please do. If you have any tips for me on how to fix this van up on a budget, I'll take all I can get. And we're definitely on a budget. Now, if you want to help that budget and hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate that. It won't cost you anything, but it might help my channel grow, might help us get monetized, might help us get some AC for the van. The girls would probably really appreciate that. But I hope you show back up. Check it out. See how this adventure goes. I hope to see you next time. Come join my adventure. What are the chances this turns out to be very interesting? I hope you find out. Take care.